It's 2023, it's a new year. That means it's time for a new watch prediction video. This is what I think is going to happen, and this is what I'd like to happen this year with watches. Welcome back to the channel, I am Adrian, and this is where I simply document my thoughts, my findings around the watch world and shill some of my products, like a Bark & Jack mug or a Bark & Jack strap. But we'll get onto that a little bit later on. Today, we are going to talk about my predictions, both what I think is going to happen and what I'd like to happen within watches, within the main players of watches, and some wild cards as well. We're going to start off with Rolex, the big one, the hot one. This year is the 60th anniversary of the Rolex Daytona, arguably the hottest model of the Rolex range. And the 50th anniversary Daytona is probably my favorite, it is my favorite Daytona of all Daytonas. Because it's 60th anniversary, I'm pretty sure they're going to jump on the opportunity to sell more Daytonas, create more hype around watches that we can't buy. Now, when Rolex did the 60th anniversary day date, they did it with a green dial, and that dial color would be very fitting for trends of today. And because it's a special Daytona, they're not going to do it in steel. You can't buy a steel Daytona anyway, so they're going to leave it to precious metal, something which they can really make some heavy profit on, probably platinum and probably rose gold. Either way, this would look really hot. The problem is that this anniversary clashes with the Submariner. And Rolex, however much they like the hype, they can't celebrate two anniversaries of two massive sports watches in their range. In 2003, Rolex celebrated the 50th anniversary of the Submariner with this, the original Kermit. In 2013, Rolex celebrated the 50th anniversary of the Daytona. So this year, I believe they will actually be celebrating the 70th anniversary of the Submariner. There's been lots of rumors of Rolex bringing back the full green Submariner, which is why they discontinued it. I can't see that happening. And also, they've already done a green steel Submariner to celebrate an anniversary. My prediction is they'll just bring out a platinum Submariner. Polished center links with some kind of Tiffany-style blue burst dial. And that's what I think Rolex will do. What I'd like Rolex to do is to tap into what they teased last year with that titanium deep sea. I would love to see Rolex bring out a titanium Submariner. It's not something they've done before. It'd be something new. It'd be something cool. I feel like it'd be nice to celebrate the Submariner by doing something purposeful and perhaps bringing out a new line of Submariner. There's been a long-standing rumor that Rolex would bring back the Coke design of the GMT Master 2. Now, I'm not confident that this would happen, but based on the fact that Rolex did something a bit weird last year, I'm pretty sure they'd do something a bit more commercial this year. Now, talking about commerciality and making things for the broad audience, not just a select few, I think there's going to be something happening with the Explorer. Rolex relaunched the 36mm Explorer, which I was taken by surprise by that. They don't often go back to something of old. However, they did it in a slightly bizarre way. The new 36mm Explorer wears smaller than the previous Explorer, and they also gave it a very dainty case. Now, the proportions of this work. It's a very nice watch to wear, and the proportions are much more pleasing on the eye compared to the previous 39mm case. The 39mm case had the same 20mm bracelet as the previous 36mm watch, and so the proportions looked a bit off. The head of the watch looked quite bulbous. Now, they've gone the complete other way and made a very dainty watch. I love the Explorer. It's my favorite watch of all time. But I do feel it's quite dainty, and therefore it's not for the mass market. My suspicion is that Rolex made such a small watch because perhaps they're going to bring out a 40mm Explorer. Just like they have with the Yachtmaster range, where there's various size ranges depending on your taste, depending on your style. I think that's what they're going to do with the Explorer. It'd be a shame because it would mean that the Explorer is more of a style watch, more of a fashion watch than a purposeful watch. However, it could open up the opportunity to have multiple dials. If you're going to have multiple sizes, then why not have multiple dials, multiple variants of the same watch? I would love to see a 40mm. I'm undecided about the size, but I'd love to see a white dial Explorer, regardless of whether it's going to be 36 or 40, but I think there's an opportunity for that to happen. Previously, I would have thought a 40mm Explorer would be just too big on the wrist, too much glass, too much dial. But my recent acquisition, IWC Mark 20, is 40mm, and this wears like an absolute dream on the wrist. And so I think a 40mm white dial Explorer would be pretty damn killer. How do you feel about a white dial or a black dial 40mm Explorer? Now for Tudor, this is a sister company to Rolex, and they have had a massive hit relaunching Rolex's previous hits. And they've gone down an absolute treat, and they've executed them brilliantly. We've had Tudor's version of the Pepsi, Tudor's version of the root beer, and Tudor's version of the Explorer 2, all of which have been executed amazingly, and I especially love the new Black Bay Pro, their version of the original Explorer 2. Now, there's two things that I think Tudor could do this year. I don't think they'd do both of them. I think either they would, rather than Rolex going down the route of relaunching the Coke GMT Master 2, I think Tudor could take that baton and run with it and launch the Coke with their aluminium bezel and their updated GMT movement. Or, and this is what I'd prefer for them to do, is to launch a new Pelagos. Last year, they launched the Pelagos 39, killer watch, absolutely brilliant. I love the bracelet, but I'd like to see this done in the 42mm version. I'm a massive fan of the Pelagos, I'm a massive fan of Tudor, but I'd like to see them update the Pelagos. It's pretty much their flagship range. If you think of the Black Bay range as their kind of hero product, it's a very commercial watch. I feel like all the technology goes into the Pelagos range, and I'd like to see them update the movement, perhaps bring back that Meta-certified movement, keep the titanium, but use proportions from the 39mm Pelagos. Slim the case down, don't make it less than 42, but just design the case so it's slimmer. Also reduce the lug to lug. So make it a little bit of, basically keep it at 42, but make it a tighter, more compact unit. And then introduce the bracelet design from the Pelagos 39, because that is gorgeous. But that's what I'd like to see. An updated, more refined version of the Pelagos 42. I would get that, regardless of the colorway. Actually, no, I'd quite like a blue, a new blue. That'd be cool. Let's talk about the Moonswatch. Arguably, I know it upset a lot of people. It upset me as well, because I've had to super glue down my little pusher here. So, but I did end up buying another one, so it didn't upset me that much. But the Moonswatch was arguably the watch of 2022. This watch took the watch world, took the world by storm. It made it into normal press, not just watch press. 1 million Moonswatches were sold in 2022. 1 million. And these watches cost £218. The Swatch Group make 90% profit on every single Moonswatch. So if they sold 1 million Moonswatches at £218, that means they made 218 million. And at 90% profit, that means they made £196 million profit on a whole new product range in the first year. In fact, in the first 9 months, 10 months, because it wasn't launched at the start of the year. That's remarkable. And it's kind of proven the point that this concept works. This concept of merging very affordable with iconic is a no-brainer. It'd be crazy for Omega and Swatch to not jump on the idea of doing Moonswatch 2.0. Either bring out a new colorway, or even better, why not launch the Swatch Master? Exactly the same concept. Fun colors, little iconic touches. They could have a James Bond version. They could have a military nods to iconic Seamasters of the past. It could be, they could increase the price, because this would be a more complex watch to make, to build a plastic watch essentially that's going to be waterproof to, I don't know, 100 meters. You could have a 100-meter plastic waterproof watch, flog it for 250 quid, everyone will buy it. Maybe not this year, but I think it's in the pipeline. But what I also think is in the pipeline, and perhaps more interesting, is what are other brands going to do? Omega have proven the concept that everyone is happy with a cheap watch. Whether you're a watch person, a fashion person, or just a person, it doesn't matter. You can get on board with this idea of buying a fun, good-looking watch. So I think other brands will do the same. You could have pretty much any prestigious brand collaborating with a much more affordable brand. You could have Timex working with Patek. Maybe not, Patek wouldn't do that. You could have G-Shock working with Hublot. You could have some sort of big bang, plasticky big bang thing. That could work. Or perhaps more obvious would be G-Shock working with Audemars Piguet and actually building the Casio. I could see that happening. Imagine that. People would buy that. People would go fucking mental for that. What do you think of my predictions? What do you think is going to happen with Rolex, Tudor, Omega, and the Moonswatch? And what collaborations could you see? Drop it a comment down below. I still haven't flogged something. Mugs over at barkandjack.com. And I've got a new watch strap for my, what's this one again? Mission to... The original strap that I had my Moonswatch on was this color. Now, I wanted to find a color that was closer to this case, and I feel like I've got it. Anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts. Drop a comment down below. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button. It really does help. It tells the YouTube monstrous algorithm that you like this video, and other watch people might like this video too. If you like the style of this video, then this is what I do. Hit the subscribe button down there. What else? I'll see you guys soon. I feel like I've been talking for absolutely ages. Take care.